Hi there and welcome to our podcast. And this week at London Visited, we go to the Old Bailey. We're going on a visit, we're not being locked up, I promise you, to tell you all about this iconic part of London. My name's Steve and each week I'll bring to you the facts, history and information about different parts of this great capital. If you've been to London, are planning on visiting, live here or just love London from afar, then this is definitely the podcast for you. And a big shout out to all of our listeners around the globe. We really appreciate you listening to this every week. Don't forget to also visit our YouTube channel, London Visited, to see videos covering this place and so many others across London. And now to this week's podcast. The Central Criminal Court of England and Wales, commonly referred to as the Old Bailey after the street on which it stands, is a criminal court building in central London, one of several that house the Crown Court of England and Wales. The street outside follows the route of the ancient wall around the City of London, which was part of the Fortifications Bailey, hence the metonymic name Old Bailey. The Old Bailey has been housed in a succession of courthouses on the street since the 16th century, when it was attached to the medieval Newgate jail. The current main building in the block was completed in 1902. Designed by Edward William Mountford, its architecture is recognised and protected as Grade 2 listed building. An extension southern block was constructed in 1972 over the former site of Newgate Jail, demolished in 1904. The Crown Court sitting in the Old Bailey hears major criminal cases from within Greater London. In exceptional cases, trials may be referred to the Old Bailey from other parts of England and Wales. As with most courts in England and Wales, trials at the Old Bailey are open to the public. However, they are subject to stringent security procedures. The court originated as the Sessions House of the Lord Mayor and Sheriffs of the City of London and of Middlesex. In addition to Sessions Court, the Old Bailey also held trials, similar to the travelling courts of Assize, held in other parts of England and Wales. The original medieval court was first mentioned in 1585. It was next to the older Newgate prison, and seems to have grown out the endowment to improve the jail and rooms for the sheriffs, made possible by a gift from Richard Whittington. It was destroyed in the Great Fire of London in 1666 and rebuilt in 1674, with the court open to the weather to prevent the spread of disease. In 1734, it was refronted, enclosing the court and reducing the influence of spectators. This led to outbreaks of typhus, notably in 1750 when 60 people died, including the Lord Mayor and 2 judges. It was rebuilt again in 1774 and a second courtroom was added in 1824. Over 100,000 criminal trials were carried out at the Old Bailey between 1674 and 1834. In 1834, it was renamed as the Central Criminal Court, and its jurisdiction extended beyond that of London and Middlesex to the whole of the English jurisdiction for trials of major cases. Her Majesty's Courts and Tribunal Service manages the courts and administers the trials, but the building itself is owned by the City of London Corporation, which finances the building, the running of it, the staff and the maintenance out of its own resources. The court was envisaged as that where only criminals accused of crimes committed in the city of Middlesex were tried. However, in 1856, there was public revulsion at complaints sent to the police against Dr. William Palmer, that he was a prisoner and murderer. This led to fears that he could not receive a fair trial in his native Staffordshire. The Central Criminal Court Act, 1856, was passed to enable his trial, and others with a public profile to be held at the Old Bailey. The Old Bailey adjoined Newgate Prison until the jail's 1902 closure. Hangings were a public spectacle in the street outside until May 1868. The condemned would be led along Dead Man's Walk, between the buildings, and many were buried in the walk itself. Large, rowdy crowds sometimes gathered and pelted the condemned with rotten fruit and vegetables, and stones. After 28 people were crushed to death when a pie seller's stall overturned, a secret tunnel was made between the prison and St Septua's Church opposite the crossroads, to allow the chaplain to minister the condemned without having to force his way through crowds. The present building dates from 1902 and was officially opened by King Edward VII on the 27th of February 1907. It co-occupies the site of the demolished prison. Above the main entrance is inscribed the admonition, "Defend the children of the poor and punish the wrongdoer." On the dome above the court stands the court's symbolic gilt bronze statue of Lady Justice. She holds a sword in her right hand and the scales of justice in her left. The statue is popularly supposed to show blind justice, but the figure is not blindfolded. The courthouse brochures explain this is because Lady Justice was originally not blindfolded, and because her maidenly form is supposed to guarantee her impartiality, which renders the blindfold redundant. During the Blitz of World War II, the Old Bailey was bombed and severely damaged, but reconstruction work restored most of it in the early 1950s. In 1952, the restored interior of the Grand or Great Hall of the Central Criminal Court was once again open. This hall, underneath the dome, is decorated with paintings commemorating the Blitz, as well as quasi-historical scenes of St Paul's Cathedral, with nobles outside. Running around the entire hall are a series of phrases, some of biblical reference. They read, "The law of the wise is fountain of life. The welfare of the people is supreme. Right lives by law, and law subsists by power. Poise the cause in justice's equal scales. Moses gave unto the people the laws of God. London shall have all its ancient rights." Between 1968 and 1972, a new South Block was built to accommodate more modern courts. In 1973, the Belfast Brigade of the Provisional IRA exploded a car bomb in the street outside, killing 1 and injuring 200 people. A shard of glass is preserved as a reminder, embedded in the wall at the top of the main stairs. The hall and its floor was decorated with many busts and statues, chiefly of British monarchs, but also of legal figures and those who achieved renown by campaigning for improvement in prison conditions from 1700 to 1900. This part of the building also housed the stenographer's office until the stenographers were replaced by technology in March 2012. Until 2017, the court manager was known by the title Secretary of the City of London, an ancient title of a city officer. All judges sitting in the Old Bailey are addressed as My Lord or My Lady, whether they are High Court, Circuit Judges or Recorders. The Lord Mayor and Aldermen of the City of London are entitled to sit on the judge's bench during a hearing, but do not participate in hearings. Where a ceremonial tradition is followed by a judge, sitting sole sits off-centre in case the Lord Mayor were to decide to come in, who would take the centre chair. The most senior permanent judge of the Central Criminal Court has the title of Recorder of London, and their deputy has the title of Common Sergeant of London. The position of Recorder of London is distinct from that of a recorder, which is a part-time judicial office, holders of which sit part-time as judges of the Crown or county courts. Many criminal law advocates with QC or KC status and leading profiles sit as recorders across the London region. The present Recorder of London from 2019 is Mark Luckcroft. The courthouse originated as part of the City of London's borough judicial system, and it remains so. The Recorder and the Common Sergeant are city officers, and the Recorder is a member of the Common Council because he is also a member of the Court of the Aldermen. The city's sheriffs and the Lord Mayor are justices there, but their jurisdiction is now nominal. The sheriffs are resident with the senior judge in the complex. In Court 1, a bench is set aside for the committee of the Bridge House Estates, the owner of the building. So I hope you've enjoyed our look at the Old Bailey, which is renowned globally for its court cases. Whatever podcast service you use to listen to this, please do subscribe to get updates on new shows, and also please leave us some feedback. Please also let me know any places you'd like us to feature in future podcasts, and you can let me know through our website www.londonvisited.co.uk. You can email me directly on londonvisited@gmail.com, or you can contact us on Twitter and Instagram @LondonVisited, or on Facebook on @TheLondonVisited. Thanks for listening. Really hope you enjoyed our podcast, and we'll see you soon on the next one. All the best. Bye.